For those of us who have watched this program since the golden era of soap operas, the World Security Bureau has always been a shadowy, unpredictable force. I remember the days of Frisco Jones, the terrifying machinations of the DVX, and the early, chilling plots of Caesar Faison. Back then, long-term storytelling meant that a character's disappearance or apparent demise was never just a simple exit. It was the planting of a seed that would blossom years later into a magnificent, sprawling narrative. Today, as I watch the current unfolding drama, I cannot help but see the echoes of those masterful plots from 20 or 30 years ago. We are witnessing a slow burn that honors the legacy of those classic espionage storylines, and it all centers around a young boy who has quietly become the most important puzzle piece on the board. If you ask me, the continued presence of young James West on our screens is not merely a coincidence or a convenient plot device to give other characters someone to mourn with. Maxie Jones is currently missing from the canvas, and the man James believed to be his father, the imposter Cassius Faison, has been pronounced dead by the authorities. So why keep the child front and center? In the world of daytime television, when a child is kept in the spotlight while their parents are absent, it means they are the emotional anchor for a massive impending storyline. The writers are quietly keeping James in the center of a much larger secret, preparing us for a revelation that will shake the very foundations of the West and Faison families. Let us examine the supposed demise of Cassius Faison. The WSB has officially declared him dead, but as a veteran viewer, I have learned never to trust a WSB death certificate unless I have seen the ashes scattered myself. The Bureau has a long, dark history of faking deaths to recruit highly skilled individuals, erasing their past to mold them into the perfect operatives. I firmly believe that Cassius is not resting in a grave. Instead, he has been secretly apprehended by the WSB. Given his unique skill set and his genetic ties to one of the most brilliant and dangerous criminal masterminds in history, Cassius is far too valuable an asset for a corrupt intelligence agency to simply eliminate. It stands to reason that the WSB has subjected Cassius to intense psychological conditioning. We have seen this tactic used time and time again over the decades, where a character's memories are suppressed and they are brainwashed into becoming a loyal soldier for a clandestine organization. Cassius is likely being held at a top-secret facility, stripped of his own identity, and forced to carry out dangerous Black Ops missions for the Bureau. This would explain the absolute finality with which the WSB announced his death. They needed the world, and especially his family, in Port Charles, to stop looking for him so they could utilize him in the shadows without interference. This brings us to the highly anticipated return of Jason Morgan. When Jason came back to Port Charles in that monumental milestone episode, we all noticed that he was profoundly changed. The trauma of his captivity and his time working under the thumb of the WSB has left visible scars on his psyche. He has been distant, secretive, and uncharacteristically hesitant to step back into his traditional role within Sonny Corinthos' organization. But what if his changed demeanor is not just about the trauma he endured? What if it is about what he discovered while he was locked away in those secret WSB facilities? During his time being controlled by the WSB, Jason had unprecedented access to the inner workings of their Black Ops divisions. I am convinced that Jason saw Cassius Faison alive with his own two eyes. Jason is a man of incredible observation and character integrity. He does not miss a detail, and he certainly would not forget the face of Cesar Faison's son. But Jason is also a master strategist. He knows that he cannot simply walk into the Port Charles Police Department and announce that the WSB is holding Cassius hostage. He needs proof, he needs a tactical plan, and most importantly, he needs to protect the people he loves before he declares war on a global intelligence agency. However, my theory goes even deeper than Cassius. If the WSB faked the death of one twin to use him as an operative, who is to say they did not do the exact same thing to the other? I believe that Jason Morgan discovered an even more explosive secret during his captivity. Nathan West is alive. Yes, the beloved detective, the man whose tragic death broke the hearts of viewers everywhere, never actually perished. The WSB could have easily orchestrated Nathan's demise to wipe his slate clean, utilizing his stellar police training and righteous determination for their own covert purposes. The idea that both twins are alive, brainwashed, and working as secret agents is a twist worthy of the greatest eras of daytime television. This staggering revelation perfectly explains Jason's recent, highly unusual behavior. When Jason abruptly packed up and took his son Danny out of town for a supposed father-son bonding trip, Many fans thought it was a sweet, sentimental gesture. But looking at it through the lens of a veteran viewer, Jason's actions scream of a tactical retreat. Jason has always prioritized the safety of his children above all else. He knows that going up against the WSB to expose their illegal brainwashing program will put a massive target on his back. Taking Danny out of town was not a vacation. It was Jason ensuring his son was entirely secure and out of the line of fire before he embarks on the most dangerous mission of his life. This aligns perfectly with Jason's character integrity. Over the decades, we have watched him evolve from a rebellious youth into a fiercely protective enforcer, and now into a father who understands the gravity of his choices. He told Sonny and Carly that he was officially leaving the mob to focus on Danny, which surprised them both. But Jason is a man of action, not just words. By officially distancing himself from the cartel, he is freeing himself from the daily gangland skirmishes so he can focus his entire intellect and resources on dismantling the WSB's corrupt faction. He is clearing the board to prepare for a war that requires his undivided attention. Jason will not be fighting this war alone. We know that he has expressed concerns about Rick Lansing being in Sonny's inner circle, which shows his protective instincts are sharper than ever. But when it comes to gathering high-level intelligence, Jason will turn to the best in the business, Brick. I can vividly picture Jason and Brick secretly coordinating their efforts, operating completely under the radar. Brick's unparalleled technological expertise combined with Jason's tactical brilliance makes them a formidable team. Together, they are likely piecing together the fragmented clues Jason gathered during his captivity, tracking down the exact classified location where Cassius and Nathan are being held. This brings us back to the heart of the story, Little James West. If Cassius and Nathan are indeed heavily brainwashed, a simple extraction mission will not be enough. They will not recognize Jason as a friend, they will see him as an enemy combatant. To break through years of intense psychological conditioning, Jason will need an emotional trigger powerful enough to shatter the WSB's programming. That trigger is James. I can envision a heart-wrenching, beautifully orchestrated scenario where Jason and Brick manage to safely bring James into the fold, using the undeniable bond between a father, an uncle, and a son to awaken the true identities buried deep within the twins' minds. The emotional resonance of such a reunion would be unparalleled. Imagine the moment those brainwashed operatives look into the eyes of that innocent boy. The WSB can erase memories and alter personalities, but they cannot sever the fundamental, soulful connection of family. James's presence would be the catalyst that breaks the spell, allowing Cassius and Nathan to remember who they truly are. It would be a masterful stroke of long-term storytelling, weaving the tragic history of the Faison bloodline into a story of redemption and undeniable love. This is the kind of epic narrative that transforms a simple daytime drama into a legendary television event. Furthermore, if Nathan West is truly alive and brought back to Port Charles, it would deliver one of the most monumental shocks in the history of General Hospital. Nathan and Maxie were on the verge of becoming a true legacy super couple before his untimely demise. The prospect of Maxie returning to town, having felt she had lost everything, only to be reunited with the absolute love of her life and the father of her child, is the exact kind of sweeping, romantic triumph that we veteran fans live for. It would restore a sense of hope and vindicate years of heartbreak, proving that true love can conquer even the darkest conspiracies. Of course, I know that this is all just a theory born from years of watching the brilliant, sometimes maddening twists of Port Charles. The writers hold the cards, and they have certainly surprised us before. But given the unresolved mystery surrounding the WSB, the highly suspicious finality of Cassius's death, the lingering presence of James, and Jason's deeply calculated maneuvers, I cannot shake the feeling that we are on the precipice of something magnificent. Whatever happens, I will be right here, watching with the same unwavering passion and dedication I have had for decades. This show is a part of our lives, a cherished daily ritual, and I cannot wait to see where this extraordinary journey takes us next.